Hello to all students. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss excretion and osmoregulation in insects with help of specialized structure which are known as Malpighian tubule. As you know that insects belong to phylum Arthropoda and they have restricted supply of water in their environment. So they are uricotilic. It means that they excrete their metabolic waste material in the form of uric acid, and uric acid is such metabolic waste which can be removed from the body with minimum amount of water. So these animals have adapted to their environment so that they can maximum retain water inside their body by eliminating uric acid from their body. Secondly, arthropod and especially insects, they have digestive system which is usually associated with excretory system, or you can say that excretory system is attached or associated with digestive system, and this happens only in insects in phylum Arthropoda in the whole animal kingdom. So first of all, we are going to look at the cross section of an insect. Right over here you can see a cockroach which has a digestive system. We are not going to discuss digestive system over here. It includes mouth, esophagus, crop, gizzard, stomach, small intestine, and ileum, rectum, anus. These parts have different function because their excretory system is attached with the digestive system which is known as gut. That is why we are going to make a diagram of the digestive system. So the digestive system of cockroach is divided into three parts: foregut, midgut and hindgut. Just at the junction of midgut and hindgut, there are fine tubules which are made up of single layer of cells which are known as Malpighian tubule, which are involved in the excretory process. Malpighian tubule was first discovered by Italian anatomist Marcello Malpighi, so that is why we call them Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules vary in number in different species of insects. For example, mosquito has only 5 Malpighian tubules, butterflies contain 6, cockroach has 60 Malpighian tubules, and locust can have 200 Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules are usually blind-ended and they are suspended in the hemocoel, which is a cavity of insects which is filled by their blood, which is known as hemolymph. So if we look at the detailed structure of a Malpighian tubule, so I have taken a cross section of digestive system right over here. So this one is a midgut and this is the hindgut, last portion of the gut. Just at the junction of midgut and hindgut, there is a tubule which is an outgrowth of the gut, and this tube is known as Malpighian tubule. It is made up of single layer of cells and it contains a lumen, and it has two parts, proximal part and distal part. Proximal part is close to gut while distal part is away from the gut. So these Malpighian tubules are open from this side while they are blind-ended on the other side, which is suspended in the hemocoel. So Malpighian tubule are blindly in hemocoel and suspend in the fluid which is known as hemolymph inside the hemocoel of the animals. Their inner surfaces contain microvilli which help in the movement of the material inside with a process known as peristalsis. They also have smooth muscles which help in this type of motion. Ions are usually transported and water is also transported. We will discuss right over here in the upcoming points. Organs of excretion and osmoregulation is Malpighian tubule. In insects, this is an outgrowth of the gut and it is covered by It is made up of a single layer of cell and it is covered by a thin layer which is known as peritoneal coat. And it has two parts, distal part which is excretory role and proximal part which has absorptive role. So now we are going to discuss this whole mechanism in detail. So first of all, these Malpighian tubule, as I mentioned earlier, they are suspended in the hemocoel, which is where there is a fluid which is known as hemolymph. Hemolymph contain nitrogenous waste products and also useful substances. So to remove the nitrogenous waste, metabolic waste products from the body, which is usually uric acid, because these animals are uricotelic and they remove their body metabolic wastes, which is uric acid. So they actively transport uric acid from hemolymph present in hemocoel into the lumen of the Malpighian tubule. Usually this process needs energy in the form of ATP. So with the help of energy, uric acid is transported from hemolymph into the lumen of Malpighian tubule. The layer of the single layer of the cells, which is the layer of the Malpighian tubule, is only single layer cells and which is very thin. So transport can be very easily taken place right over here. Secondly, sodium ion, potassium ion and in some species chloride ion are also transported actively with the help of ATP energy from hemolymph into the lumen of Malpighian tubule. Now inside the lumen there is a more concentration of solutes. So this condition will become hypertonic. In this condition, water present in the hemolymph will start to move inside, which will start to flow inside the lumen of Malpighian tubule passively without energy, because water always move from hypotonic environment to hypertonic environment, which is, you can say, osmosis. So water contains sugar and amino acid dissolve in it. So with water, these kind of substances which are useful for the body also transported into the lumen of Malpighian tubule. So in this way, in the distal portion of Malpighian tubule, the process of excretion takes place. During excretion, uric acid, sodium, potassium, water, glucose, amino acid are being absorbed into the distal portion of the Malpighian tubule. Now this fluid, you can say, filtrate, and Malpighian filtrate, or you can say urine, contain useful substances as well as metabolic wastes of the body. Now these substances are going to move from distal part to the proximal part and then into the last portion of digestive system, which is known as hindgut. During this process, now reabsorption is going to take place to reabsorb the essential and necessary parts of this urine, which is water, glucose, amino acids and ions. Some of the water, sugar, amino acid and some ions are absorbed in the proximal portion of the Malpighian tubule, but rest of them are reabsorbed at the level of rectum. Midgut ends in hindgut, and this fluid which is coming from the Malpighian tubule also poured into the hindgut, which ultimately reaches into the last portion of the digestive system, which is known as rectum. Now here, with help of ATP, active transport, sodium, potassium, sugar and amino acids are removed from the rectum. As a result of this, ions concentration, salts concentration increases just around the rectum, and water follows these ions and salts, because water moves from hypotonic to hypertonic environment with the help of osmosis. So water will move passively out the rectum into the hemolymph or into the sinus where the rectum is present. So in this way, all the essential parts of the urine, which include water, which include salts, sugar and amino acid, has been reabsorbed from the urine. Now only left there are waste material, metabolic wastes, which is known as uric acid crystals, which are excreted from the rectum through anus along with the other undigested food material, because undigested food material is coming from the digestive system and excretory product is coming from the Malpighian tubule. Altogether they are excreted through anus in the form of solid excreta, in the form of crystals of uric acid from the body. So in this way, maximum amount of water has been reabsorbed and the metabolic wastage, which is known as uric acid, has been removed from the body. So this way, in this way, arthropods, which are insect, has successfully adopted in the terrestrial mode of environment where there is a very restricted supply of water by absorbing maximum amount of water from their body and excreting uric acid metabolic wastage from the body with the help of very low amount of, very minimum amount of water from their body. That's all for today. See you in the next lecture.